Jesus enters into Jerusalem, and in that lane there is a pool by the name Bethesda, and on that pool there are men that are gathered there, men with infirmities, men that are blind, men that are lame, men that are possessed, men that are oppressed by the devil. They are gathered there waiting for their healing and deliverance. For once in a while, in a season, an angel would come and steer the waters, and the first to enter into the waters will be healed and delivered. So these people, they are waiting, gathering together to wait for a seasonal angel that is coming to steer the waters once in a season for a healing of one person who first enters into the waters. But in those days, there are temples that are operating, there are temples that are running, there are churches that are running, but people chose to go to a pool to wait for their healing and deliverance. Yet there are people that are praying in a temple somewhere. There is a time the church lost its relevance. There is a time the church lost its essence. There is a time the church lost its supernatural power, such that the people had to move away from the church and start to look for other solutions. There is a time where warriors were sleeping, and people with infirmities, people who were supposed to be delivered by the church, went to stay by a pool waiting for a seasonal angel that will come to steer the waters. There are moments in this journey with God where people have moved out of the church because the church could not provide answers for the people. There is a time where men came out of the church because we could not behold the presence of God as they expected it to flow in the church. There is a time where we failed to manifest the glory of God on the face of the earth, and because of that, people saw that there is no more solution in the church, and they begin to go for other means. People waited on the pool of Bethesda for an answer. They waited for years there. Why? Because the church is failing to manifest. But there is a time when Jesus entered into the land of Jerusalem. We hear that he meets a man that has been by the pool for 38 years, for such a long time, waiting for the healing, waiting for the deliverance. The man, he was with an infirmity, until Jesus entered the place and he said, "Rise up and walk," and the man rose and began to walk. It means the man was waiting for an utterance of a warrior. Yet in those days there was no man to provide an utterance. Why? Because men were not clothed with the glory of God. Men lost the ways of God. It is at such a point when God will send warriors with an utterance to deliver a generation, to bring a generation unto freedom, to bring a generation unto the light of God, to bring a generation unto healing. That is when God will send men from Zion to release an utterance over the face of the earth, to make sure that the earth is programmed according to the systems of God. In this generation, we're at a point where God is raising warriors, where God is releasing trumpets that are going to sound an alarm in these end times. For we have people who have been by the pool of Bethesda for long, and God is saying, this is the time. This is the time for that army. This is the time for that later glory. This is the time for the sons of God to come on ground and begin to make the moves of God initiate on the face of the earth. There is a moment that we are entering into where men from the pool of Bethesda will see the glory of God in the church and come to receive of the glory of God. The inability of a man that made him stay for 38 years on a pool was destroyed by the utterance of Jesus Christ. When Jesus Christ speaks over this world, there is a movement. You see that after Jesus released an utterance over this man by the pool, immediately he got up on his feet, picked these things and began to move. There is going to be a movement as God releases utterance upon the face of the earth through his servants. There is a movement that is being steered over the face of the earth. It's the end time revival, the end time move of God. People have been suffering. People have been waiting for this moment, and Jesus is speaking over the nations. Get ready, for the great awakening is here. You warrior who have been sent by God to release an utterance upon the face of the earth, this is the time for you to wake up and begin to work on the mission that the Lord has given you. For this is the time for the move of God. This is the time for the end time revival. This is the time for that great and mighty
experience that has been the promise of our fathers is happening in our days and times. The end time revival is here.